So hello friends. So as preliminary examination is fast approaching, we'll look at economic survey. So economic survey revision is very important. So we'll comprehensively and briefly both. Okay, we'll look at both the ways, economic survey and economic concepts, which are very essential for preliminary examination. So without any delay, we'll go to the video. And the first thing, see, economic survey, you should always think about how do you derive these data into questions. That is what you should always think about. And if you think about it, this is a question which is not that relevant to UPSC, which is, these are questions where you will get in SSC, RBI, especially RBI grade B is now, see, they have announced RBI grade B. Anyone preparing for civil services examination, you should also look at RBI grade B, very important for career growth, and it is very essential if you see for knowing economics as well. And if you prepare economic survey, it is going to be helpful for this and UPSC as well. So in UPSC preliminary examination, they are not going to ask for what are the specific data of growth predicted by RBI, predicted by IMF, predicted by World Bank. These are questions pertaining to these exams, which I have given now. But in UPSC, what you have to know is this trends, trend of growth. Trend of growth, in that if you see, UPSC will ask you, like, how the trend has been, how the GDP growth has been, whether it has been increasing, whether it has been decreasing, whether it is continuously increasing. But if you look at it, this is average growth which India has, but this is not about the trend. Trend is in the next. So look at this. This is the real GDP growth or real GDP global economic growth. So if you see, it is a global, it is globally how the economic trend has been. This is not pertaining to India. The last slide was India. Okay, this is about India projections, growth projections, but this is about the world growth. And in world growth, if you see, there was a question in UPSC. There was a question in UPSC where they asked for V-shaped recovery. V-shaped recovery. What are they meaning by V-shaped? So you should know what are they meaning by V-shaped recovery. V-shaped recovery is that the growth was going fine, but 2020, this corona came. 2020, this corona came, and hence there was a speed breaker. Everything shut down, the economy shut down, hence you will see the slump here, but then it again increases. So this is what they actually referred in the question by saying V-shaped recovery, and this is one one evidence for the economy growing. Even Indian economy also similar. So this is like, this is something which is for the world economy, but this Indian economy also similarly grew in this fashion, and that is what you should know. But the next, as you might be knowing, for mains exam and for preliminary examination also, very important data is that the GDP composition or GDP composition or GVA composition. In this composition, you should definitely go or think about what is this composition for agri, industry and services. So in these compositions, so next industries will be around 30, this will be around 55, this will be around 18 or something. So these are the composition of each of the, so agriculture, so how much to our GDP the following things contribute. This is a data very important for mains, but it is also essential for understanding preliminary trends, preliminary examination question trends. For example, see, look at this. This is the agricultural growth. This is like, agriculture and allied sectors. And this also, if you check, this agricultural growth, and as I told you, agriculture contributes nearly 18%, okay, 18 to 17%, okay, 18 to 17%. But if you see the growth, or sorry, the dependence. So the dependence on agriculture, it is nearly 50% of the population. Approximate figure. This 50% of the population is dependent on 18%. It is like, in 100 rupees, Okay, or 100 rupees if it is there na, in this 18 rupees is shared by 50 people. Okay, wow. The rest of the 80 rupees is shared by rest of the 50 people. Yeah, this is why this economic inequality happens, and this is why there is a there are policies that we have to move people from agriculture to industries and services. We have to make them high end. It is not for declining agriculture. It is for actually increasing the productivity of agriculture. UPSC, there is also one question, productivity. See, productivity means each person, one person contributing how much? How much? So that has to be increased. Now, for example, 5 people, 6 people dependent on a family is dependent on a small piece of land, that is going to not, amount to very much. So, but now for preliminary examination, what you have to know is that, see, UPSC will ask you a question saying that agricultural growth has been steadily increasing. No, it has actually not increased over the 10-year period. See, look at this. Over the 10-year period from 2014, it has increased, decreased. But after COVID, and this is a one specific point, look at this. During the time of COVID, the services and industries actually went low, but the economy, look at this agricultural growth, it is actually in a positive way. But the next thing, so next you should know about this, what is that? Industry share in, as I told you, share in total gross value added. How much each sector contributes is very, very essential. And in industry, there is not one, there is actually many. So you should know mining is there, in industry, manufacturing, electricity supply, and construction. Actually, this construction is what contributes to the majority of jobs. So in industry, as I told you, agriculture, 18% dependent, or 18% of the economy is contributed by agriculture, but 50% of the population is dependent. But here, 30% is contributed by industry. The number of jobs is okay, equivalently high, but the majority comes from construction. That is where the majority of the population in industry sector in India are. That is why during the COVID, industry went low. Industry went low. The contribution of construction sector was very, very low, right? But now it is actually booming again. Now it is actually coming up again. So this is one thing that you should know, each sector. And in this, manufacturing is, see how much? 30% is industry, manufacturing in that 18%. The next is services sector. Okay, services sector, we'll look at it in a later way. But as I told you, this economic survey deals from 1990. So I have also not divided this into mere chapters. Rather, we are going to explain in a sequence. In 1990s, for example, if you see, this is one important question this time, this balance of payment crisis. This balance of payment crisis is a question I think we can expect. This is a question this time we can expect this question. Why this economic survey also starts with India's story. India's story in 1990s is that we were having a very small balance or very small amount for our imports. That is what is called as balance of payment. In the later slides, we will look at each subtopic individually. But now coming back to this, because of this balance of payment, we had to liberalize India. We have to liberalize India. What prelims? There is also a question. What is liberalizing? So what are the steps for liberalizing? In mains also this is there. So this liberalizing, what happened? Import licensing. Earlier you were having import licenses and all. There was something called as license Raj. So this was reduced. This was not reduced, this was taken away. License Raj. Next point is that this exchange rate earlier was fixed. Exchange rate of money was fixed, but this is actually one more question. This is actually a question in group 1 also. In group 1, this topic is there. Group 1 TNPSC. What are the consequences of liberalizing? What happened after 1990? So these are the things happened. Import licensing went low and the exchange rate was made flexible. One more important point is that the rupee was made fully convertible, but in current account, okay, not in capital account. Capital account was partially convertible. The meaning is that current account means if you want to go to USA, earlier and all, you cannot go that easily. But after 1990, it has been made easy. So I want to take a, what is that? Ulagam Sutrum Maliban Madina, if I can go and I can come back. But earlier it was not the case. Or a movie, if they had to take, it was a very tough task. You have to have so many permissions, but not now. But this capital account partially convertible now, it means that, a person is investing in India. That person cannot, take away the complete money easily. That person, that is what is the meaning of partial convertibility. So you have full convertibility in current account, not in capital account. Remember this is one question. So the next point. So after this is the point, what and all happened is that there was all this from economic survey only. So I have taken it from economic survey. In this, if you see because of post liberalization, so because of post liberalization, there was what are the consequences we saw in this? There was also one other consequence was privatization. So you liberalize money, you liberalize capital, you liberalize licensing, you also liberalize privatization. When privatization is there, you are having a competition with yourself. Public sector undertakings, PSUs. Okay, wow. So you have this competition with yourself. Remember this. There is something, so in a sense, see, this is what you should do while reading also. In GS paper 4, there is a topic called as conflict of interest. There is a topic, conflict of interest. What is conflict of interest? Now, this is what is conflict of interest. Conflict of interest is, you are the government, you run an organization, you regulate the market. How is that possible? You regulate what? So, for example, BSNL is there. You say that BSNL is there. BSNL is your organization. So, if you fix the amount of tariff, isn't it conflict of interest? This is what is conflict of interest. So, when you are reading for GS paper 4, you should not look for books. GS paper 4, no books is there. GS paper 4, what you read in GS paper 1, 2, 3 and newspaper. This should be your thing, because see, conflict of interest is this, and that is why you brought in regulators. See, look at this. That is why you are bringing in regulators, where one thing is Telecom Regulatory Authority of India. This comes in public administration as well. Importance of regulatory mechanism, importance of regulatory mechanism. In GS paper 2 also this is there. Why regulator? SEBI is also a regulator, no? Stock market. So this time, this is a question. Stock market regulator, whether they are legal or whether they have a legal backing or executive backing. Please look at it. Whether they have a law. SEBI law irkan paathukonga. This is the question. But what happened? So 1990s kapro, there comes a regulatory mechanism for regulation of all the individual private companies and the PSUs. So that is what happened. Then the point is that after that, because of that, see, this is the point. Why FDI initially, look at this, initially it is not that high. But once the regulation sets in, you send in a fact saying that we will be fair to you. Once you send the message that you are going to be fair to the private sector and to the public sector, people will start investing in you, and that is how this investment. So in preliminary examination, if they are going to ask about some FDI or something like that, understand this logic that FDI did not happen in one day. But in UPSC, they will never, I don't think they are going to care about how much FDI comes in a month or something like that. They will care about how this trend has increased. See, FDI is not a continuous increase. You look at, check this fact. See, it is not a continuity or increasing continuously. It is actually, if you see this, there has been up and down. Okay, up and down. And it has not also increased like this. Step by step process now. And they have taken so many, so many steps in order for this to happen. In one of the steps is Fiscal Responsibility Budget Management Act. This time prelims question is it. Fiscal Responsibility Budget Management Act actually helps in, reducing the deficit. What is the meaning of deficit? We are going to come. But Anna, this is a question noted down. These were steps. So now I am explaining consequences of 1990. These were one of the steps which actually improved our condition for investment. One other thing is SURFACE Act. SURFACE Act now you need not know because IBC, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code is there. Adavadhu, you invest money, you have to get back that money if you are not making profit out of that, venture. The person investing will not stay in that for very long. That person will say, "Na moodittu poyit na kalambran neenga paathukonga." But the land will be there, the things will be there, factory will be there. You have to sell it to a proper person to operate, or you have to get back the money. So this is what is Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. These are steps which resulted in what now? It resulted in improved condition, and these are these are the steps. So what are the steps they had? Interest deregulation, privatization, asset recovery, infrastructure, FRBM Act. This is from 2014. So what are the steps taken in the economic survey? They have given GST is given, insolvency, privatization, tax rates reform, decriminalization, vaccinations, vaccines rollout. All this has helped in improving our economy. So if in the question also, when you are looking at questions, don't think about these questions as merely, database. No, they will be thinking about the logic. So this is how it happened. So what happened was, after this came, so you will have the capital flows. Okay, so because of all these changes, the capital flows increased. But you look at this is dot-com bubble they have given. Okay, dot-com bubble there was a moment when 2000, this change 2000 when the computers from here to they wanted to change. Yeah, computer in the date 1999 வருது. But 2000 it's completely different. Computer they started in 1950s so they did not have the this numbering itself. Numbering system collapse, and that was dot-com bubble or Y2K crisis, and it happened. So what happened was in 2000 many of the stock market crashed. Okay, stock market crash, and this is like that corona. So they will give you some some interpretation of some table or something. Abdin question when they give, you should know that in the Madi or crisis investment goes low. In the Madi or crisis foreign direct investment goes low. But once the crisis goes away, you will have a V-shaped recovery. So that is what you should know. So the next, so then the global boom. So this is the boom. Okay, after this crisis, everyone started increasing investing money. Okay, because of the dot-com crisis, the federal rate, the US government federal rate, they will say, okay, US government federal rate, very important. Because of this federal rate increase or decrease, your money supply will be affected. How only we'll see. Okay, in the federal rate, USA government when they actually, so what they did was, see, dot-com crisis, everything got bust. No one actually then wanted to invest. Everyone was like, no, investment is going down, everything is okay, I am not going to do anything. So federal rate will lower. Okay, whether they will increase or decrease, actually they will lower because they want to pump in money. Okay, this is the point. Federal rate lower achna, the meaning is that, see, for 100 rupees, if I say 10% interest, okay, why do? But if I say 0% interest, everyone will get this slab. So federal rate adda. Federal Reserve, what they did was they actually reduced the interest rate to such an extent that they pumped in money like anything, and the pump in money actually came to a larger extent in India. So in the 2000 to 2008, yeah. So the 2000, so 2004 to 2008 was my batch engineering. So on the ECR route I have seen, yeah. On the time, all the money I think was pumped into that place, and that place grew like anything. And that is how the FDI comes in. Federal rate vandu lower aichu. You have so much of money supply in USA. You have to invest it somewhere, and they will actually invest in growing economies. So India they came. So this is the part of, see, this is the part of this came, and this is what is FRBM, and India actually helped. If I am going to invest in your country, you have to make some changes. See, FRBM Act munnadi, there were huge deficit, fiscal deficit. What is the meaning of fiscal deficit? You are borrowing beyond your means. Whatever you are earning, you are borrowing beyond that, and hence you are paying a lot of interest rate, and that is going to affect the future generation. Okay, there is also one question. Intergeneration, GS paper 3 they asked this question. They asked this question of intergenerational equity. Okay, intergenerational equity. Give examples. Intergenerational equity. We can think about climate change. Meaning, what is the meaning? If we emit so much of carbon dioxide, the other generation is going to get affected. Intergenerational equity will not be there. We are emitting everything. They will not be able to survive at all. Similarly, this is also one thing. If you keep borrowing, this generation keeps borrowing, it will go, interest will go to the next generation. And this is why you have this, FRBM Act, Fiscal Responsibility Budget Management Act. So what and all comes here? In the Fiscal Responsibility Budget Management Act, fiscal deficit reduce, revenue deficit reduce. You have to show midterm, I think, or midterm growth projections or something like that, So what and all is there? Please check it. In the components, this time question. So look at it. So this is what they did, and then we will go to this, budget. So